Most people think being broke is simply a lack of money. But if you look a little closer, it usually isn't. It's a lack of a clear starting point. Because what keeps most people stuck is not that they aren't trying. It's that they're trying within a system they don't fully understand. A system where your time is constantly exchanged for just enough income to stay afloat, while small, almost invisible expenses quietly pull you back to zero. It doesn't feel dramatic when it's happening. It feels normal. You go to work, you pay for convenience when you're tired, you keep up with things that seem small on their own. But over time, those patterns compound. And the result is subtle. It's not failure, it's stagnation. You're moving, but not forward. And if you've ever felt like you're putting in effort but not seeing progress, it's not because you lack discipline. It's because the rules you're playing by were never made obvious to you in the first place. I'm Danny, and I'm still figuring this out in real time. I'm in my early 20s, which is that phase where you're expected to have direction, but most of the time you're just trying to make sense of things. You see people moving ahead, building something, earning more, and you start wondering if you missed something important. For a long time, I thought the solution was to wait. Wait until I had enough money, enough clarity, enough confidence to start properly. But that waiting period doesn't feel like waiting while you're in it. It feels like preparation. And that's the trap. Because the longer you wait, the more you realize nothing is actually changing. I don't have a perfect success story to show you, and that's intentional. Because most of the perfect stories you see are built to sell you an outcome, not explain the process. And if you're starting from zero, what you need is not inspiration, it's something you can actually follow. This channel exists for a very specific type of person. The one who feels stuck, but knows they shouldn't be. The one who doesn't have capital, but knows they have time and the ability to learn. The one who is tired of hearing general advice that doesn't apply to their situation. I call this person the struggling starter. And instead of trying to jump straight into complex strategies or high-level investing, we're going to focus on what actually works at the beginning. That means understanding how to think differently about money, identifying simple ways to earn without needing capital, and building something I call a freedom fund. Not money for emergencies, but money that creates options. Because until you have options, every decision you make is reactive. What you can expect from this channel is not motivation and not hype. It's structure. Each video is going to break down one idea at a time and show you how it actually plays out in real life. We'll look at the patterns behind how people build from nothing, and we'll simplify those patterns into something practical. You'll start to see where money leaks out of your system, where it can be redirected, and how small, consistent actions create momentum over time. Most of the things we'll talk about will seem simple, sometimes even obvious. But that's the point. The difference between people who stay stuck and people who move forward is usually not access to better information. It's applying basic ideas earlier and more consistently. If you follow this process, the first thing that changes is not your income, it's your awareness. You start to see things differently. You notice patterns you ignored before. And once that happens, your decisions begin to change. Slowly at first, then more consistently. That's how movement starts. Not from one big breakthrough, but from a series of small shifts that compound over time. And eventually, those small shifts turn into something measurable, something real. So if you're in that position right now, where it feels like you're trying but not progressing, this is where you start. Not with a perfect plan, not with a large amount of money, but with a clearer way of thinking and a system you can actually follow. If that's what you're looking for, then you can subscribe and follow along as we break this down step by step. And if there's one thing you're currently struggling with financially, something that feels like it's holding you in place, leave it in the comments. I read them, and it helps shape what we build here.